The shuttle's engines hummed softly as it descended through the thick, violet clouds of the distant planet. Captain Ethan Cole leaned forward in his seat, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and excitement.
This territory belongs to no one.
The landscape below was like nothing he had ever seen before. Towering crystalline structures rose from the ground, glowing faintly in the dim light of the alien sun. Energy fields shimmered and twisted in the air, forming patterns that seemed almost alive. "This place, it's unreal," muttered Dr. Lila Brooks, the team's lead scientist, her fingers flying over a tablet as she recorded every detail. "The readings are off the charts. Magnetic anomalies, radiation spikes, this planet is dangerous." Ethan nodded, though a smile tugged at his lips. Danger was part of the thrill. "Exactly why we're here," he said. His voice carried confidence, but deep down, his heart raced. None of them truly knew what awaited them. The shuttle landed with a gentle thud, sending up clouds of glittering dust that sparkled in the strange light. The team stepped out cautiously, helmets sealing their heads as they took in the alien city around them. Massive towers of metal and crystal stretched toward the sky, carved with symbols that seemed to move when observed. The air was thick with a hum, an energy that made the hairs on Ethan's arms stand on end. "Stay alert," he said, motioning for the team to spread out. "We don't know if anything else is here." Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath their feet. A shadow fell across them, and the team froze. Emerging from the towering spires was a figure unlike anything they had imagined. 8 feet tall, with an aura of power and authority, the alien queen walked gracefully toward them. Her skin shimmered with an iridescent glow, and her eyes, large, intelligent, and unreadable, locked onto Ethan. The queen's voice echoed in their minds, bypassing their ears entirely. "You dare step onto my world, humans," she said, her tone both amused and commanding. "Do you think you are worthy of standing here? Or of anything else?" Dr. Brooks stepped forward, trembling. We mean no harm. We are explorers. Scientists. We only wish to study your civilization." The alien queen tilted her head, a cruel smile playing on her lips. "Study?" she whispered, though her words carried the weight of authority. "You cannot begin to comprehend what exists here. And yet, you speak of union." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. "Union?" he echoed, unsure if he had heard correctly. The queen laughed, a sound that was both beautiful and terrifying, filling the air with an almost tangible force. "You dare speak of breeding with me? With my kind?" She stepped closer, her presence pressing down on them like the weight of a storm. "Humans, so fragile, so limited. Your arrogance is entertaining." The team instinctively took a step back. Ethan raised his hands in a gesture of calm. "We didn't mean any offense. We simply—" "Silence," the queen snapped. The energy fields around them flared, glowing brighter as if responding to her will. Sparks of electricity danced in the air, and the wind howled like a living thing. "You will learn, some things are beyond your understanding. Some things are not meant to be toyed with." For a moment, it seemed as if the very ground beneath them would tear open. Ethan could feel the alien power radiating from her. She was majestic, terrifying, and far beyond anything a human could hope to challenge. Yet, there was something in her eyes, curiosity, almost like amusement, that sent a shiver through him. And then, as suddenly as she appeared, the alien queen vanished. The energy fields around them calmed, leaving the team blinking in disbelief. Where she had stood, a small, glowing mark hovered in the air, a strange symbol etched in light. It pulsed softly, almost beckoning them forward. Ethan stepped closer, kneeling to examine it. "What is this?" he whispered. The symbol shimmered, changing shape as though alive. Dr. Brooks leaned in, her eyes wide. "It's a message, or a warning," she said, her voice trembling. "Something, from her." The team felt a strange mixture of fear and awe. Whatever this mark represented, it was no ordinary alien artifact. It carried power, intelligence, and perhaps, intent. Ethan stood, glancing around at his team. "We've just scratched the surface," he said, a mix of excitement and dread in his voice. "And I have a feeling, this is only the beginning." As they stared at the glowing mark, none of them noticed the faint shimmer above the city, a figure watching silently, her eyes glinting with an unreadable emotion. She had laughed at the idea of humans, mocked their limitations, but something had changed. Something unexpected had begun. And so, on that distant, alien world, a story that none of them could have predicted had quietly started. The mark pulsed once more, and the planet's hum seemed to whisper, almost as if urging them onward, into a future that would challenge everything they knew about life, power, and the unknown. The glowing mark hovered in the air for several moments, its soft light pulsing like a heartbeat. Ethan Cole and his team could hardly breathe, caught between awe and fear. Finally, the mark blinked once and dissolved into nothingness, leaving only a faint warmth on the ground where it had been. Did anyone else feel that?" whispered Dr. Lila Brooks, her voice trembling. It felt alive." Ethan nodded slowly, scanning the alien city that stretched before them. The crystalline towers glimmered faintly, but there was an unsettling stillness now, as if the planet itself were holding its breath. "Yes," he said, his tone low. "And I think, we're being watched." The team exchanged uneasy glances. Lieutenant Marco Reyes, the shuttle's pilot, swallowed hard. Watched? By what? The wildlife? Ethan shook his head. No. Not wildlife. His eyes narrowed as he recalled the 8-foot alien queen. By her. A soft hum vibrated through the air again. This time, the energy fields around the city flared in response. Sparks of iridescent light darted across the ground. The team instinctively huddled together. "She's close," Ethan whispered, almost to himself. "I can feel it." Lila adjusted her tablet frantically. "Captain, the energy readings are spiking. That mark, it's not just a symbol. It's some kind of signal. Something is being transmitted." Ethan felt a shiver crawl down his spine. Signal? To whom? Before anyone could answer, a shadow moved overhead. The alien queen appeared once more, descending silently from the glowing spires. She landed with a grace that seemed to bend the laws of physics. Her eyes glimmered with amusement, yet there was an intensity there Ethan couldn't read. "You study, you explore, you trespass," she said, her voice resonating directly in their minds again. "But you are foolish." Dr. Brooks took a step back. "We meant no harm," she insisted. "We only want knowledge, understanding." The queen tilted her head, a slow, deliberate motion. "Understanding," she repeated. "You speak as if you can comprehend life beyond your fragile minds. Yet, you intrigue me." Ethan's brow furrowed. "Intrigue you? How?" A faint smile flickered across the queen's face. "Something different. I sense a rare quality in you, human. Courage. Curiosity. Strength of spirit. You are not like the others." The team tensed. Ethan felt an unexpected pride mixed with fear. "I don't understand," he admitted. Why show yourself now?" The queen's gaze intensified. "Because, some things are beyond planning. Some are beyond control." Her voice dropped to a whisper that seemed to ripple through their minds. "And yet, you may be part of something I did not anticipate." Ethan's heart pounded. "Part of what?" Her laughter filled the air, soft at first, then rising into a sound that seemed to bend reality. "Part of life. Of creation. Of chaos." The energy fields flared suddenly, forming a dome around the team. Sparks of alien light danced across their suits. Ethan raised his hands to shield his eyes. The queen's form blurred, flickering as if she existed in multiple places at once. "We must leave," Marco whispered urgently. This is too dangerous. No, Ethan said firmly. We need to understand what's happening. If she is watching us, if she is sending signals, we must know why. The Queen's figure solidified again, her iridescent skin shimmering under the alien sun. She took a step closer, and the air vibrated with her presence. Ethan could feel his chest tighten. It was as if the planet itself were pressing down on him. Observe closely, human, she said, her voice low but commanding. I find your kind amusing. Limited. Yet, capable of surprises. A sudden flash of movement caught Ethan's eye. He glanced toward the spires and saw alien creatures, tall, insect-like beings, stirring in response to her presence. They were silent, obedient, and terrifying. Whatever the Queen wanted, they were ready to act. She's testing us, Ethan whispered to Lila. Or, warning us. The Queen's eyes locked on him again. Do you even know what you are playing with? She asked. Do you know what might happen? Ethan shook his head. No. But we want to learn. We want to understand. The Queen's laughter returned, soft and melodious. Very well, she said. You will learn, in ways you cannot imagine. She raised a hand, and a thin, glowing thread of light shot from her palm toward the human team. Ethan felt a strange warmth touch him, a sensation both terrifying and strangely intimate. What is this? Lila cried, instinctively stepping back. The Queen's eyes glimmered, almost fondly. Something unexpected has begun, she whispered. You may have crossed a threshold, unknowingly. Suddenly, without warning, she vanished again. The dome of energy dissolved, leaving the humans blinking in confusion. The alien creatures froze, their heads tilting as if awaiting further commands. The only thing left was the lingering warmth of her touch on Ethan, and the feeling that something monumental had changed, something none of them could yet comprehend. Ethan's gaze drifted to the horizon, where the alien towers gleamed like jewels. She's interested, he muttered. In me. Or, in something I carry. Dr. Brooks shivered. Or, in the consequences of our presence here. Whatever it is, it's beyond us. Beyond our understanding. And so, on that alien world, the human expedition realized that they were no longer just visitors. They were part of a story far larger than themselves, one that was just beginning, and one that would test the limits of courage, understanding, and life itself. High above the city, the alien Queen watched silently, her thoughts unreadable. She had laughed at the humans before. She had mocked their limitations. Yet now, a spark of curiosity had turned into something she could not ignore. Something unexpected had begun. And in the shadows, the energy fields pulsed once more, as if alive, signaling that the true challenge was only just beginning. The alien city was silent now, but the air felt alive, humming with an energy that was impossible to ignore. Ethan Cole and his team moved cautiously, every step echoing across the crystalline towers. They could still feel the warmth of the Queen's touch lingering on Ethan's skin, a sensation both unnerving and strange. We should leave, Lieutenant Marco muttered, glancing nervously at the horizon. She's clearly powerful, we're just humans. This isn't our place. Ethan shook his head. We came here to understand, Marco. To explore. That's why we can't leave. Not yet. His voice was firm, though his heart raced. He knew that the Queen's attention on him, or perhaps on something inside him, meant they were now part of something far bigger than themselves. Suddenly, the air shimmered in front of them. The alien Queen appeared again, descending from the top of a spire like a shadow of light. Her towering 8-foot form radiated authority, her eyes locking onto Ethan's. You persist, she said, her voice calm but powerful. Even when danger surrounds you, you do not flee. Dr. Lila Brooks whispered, barely audible, why is she so interested in him? The Queen's gaze flicked toward Ethan. Interest is a human word. Curiosity, amusement, perhaps. Or perhaps, necessity. She circled them slowly, her movement graceful and predatory at the same time. Something has begun. Something unexpected. Ethan swallowed hard. We don't understand what's happening. We're explorers. That's all. The Queen tilted her head, and for a brief moment, her expression softened. Then her eyes glimmered with a cold intensity. Explorers, fragile, limited, yet bold. Boldness is rare. Most would have fled. Most would have crumbled before now. But you endure. A sudden gust of alien wind swept through the towers, carrying faint whispers that seemed to echo in the minds of the humans. Shapes flickered in the periphery, creatures that had been observing from the shadows moved closer, their insect-like limbs clicking and scratching as they followed the Queen's will. Ethan felt his chest tighten. She's testing us, he muttered to Lila. Or preparing us, for something. The Queen stopped suddenly, her gaze piercing into Ethan's very thoughts. Do you feel it? She asked softly. Do you sense the change that has begun? What change? Ethan asked, though a cold shiver ran down his spine. He felt different, strange warmth and a faint pulsing within him, a connection to the Queen that he couldn't explain. The Queen smiled faintly, a look of disbelief crossing her alien features. You are a part of something impossible. Even I did not anticipate this. Dr. Brooks gasped. Impossible? What does she mean? The Queen's eyes flickered toward the horizon. Your presence, your energy, it has caused life to awaken where I did not expect. Something begins inside me. Something that defies your understanding. Ethan stepped back, confused and alarmed. Inside you? What are you saying? The Queen's laughter echoed softly, almost like a song of wind. Yes. Inside me, something stirs. Something unexpected. Perhaps, a bond between our species, a spark, a creation. Her voice dropped to a whisper, more to herself than to the humans. I did not intend this. And yet, it is happening. The team exchanged horrified glances. Marco whispered, creation. Are you telling me, she's pregnant? Ethan didn't respond. He could barely process the Queen's words, but a strange thrill mixed with fear coursed through him. The energy fields around them pulsed, reacting to the Queen's emotions. Bright flashes of light illuminated the towers like a storm of colors. The Queen's advisors, hidden among the shadows, began to stir. Tall, insect-like beings emerged from the towers, whispering in alien clicks and chirps. They looked concerned, agitated. Whatever the Queen carried, it had the power to disrupt their society. You see, the Queen said softly, almost to herself. Even they sense it, even they fear it. Her gaze returned to Ethan. Do you understand now, human? The boundaries you cannot cross, you have crossed. You have ignited something ancient. Something primal. Ethan could feel his pulse hammering in his ears. I didn't mean. I don't understand. The Queen raised her hand, and a glowing orb of energy appeared, floating between them. It pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, or what felt like her heartbeat. The light seemed to reach toward Ethan, wrapping around him in a cocoon of warmth and pressure. His body tingled as if something deep inside had been awakened. Dr. Brooks grabbed Ethan's arm. Captain, step back. That energy, it's affecting you. But Ethan couldn't move. The connection was magnetic, impossible to resist. In that moment, he understood, something had changed between him and the Queen. Something neither human nor alien could have foreseen. The Queen's eyes glimmered with a mix of fear and awe. Yes, it begins. The bond. The creation. And I cannot stop it. Suddenly, the air trembled violently. Crystalline shards fell from the towers, floating mid-air as the energy fields around them surged. Ethan could hear the whispers of the alien city, a low, thrumming hum that vibrated through his chest. The creatures stirred, their attention now fully on him. The Queen's advisors began to chatter frantically, clicks and chirps blending into a deafening chorus. "This is bad," Marco muttered. "Really bad." The Queen's voice cut through the chaos. "No, it is not bad. It is necessary." Ethan's mind raced. He had no idea what was coming, but he felt a deep, undeniable truth. Whatever had begun, it was bigger than him, bigger than humanity, and it would change everything. The Queen's form shimmered, becoming almost transparent. She raised her hand one final time, and the glowing orb of energy expanded, casting the entire city in a brilliant, pulsating light. "You will see, soon," she whispered. "And when you do, you will understand why nothing is as it seems. And why, you cannot leave, not yet." And just like that, she vanished once more, leaving Ethan and his team standing in a city alive with energy, surrounded by creatures that watched silently, and with the heavy, unshakable feeling that something monumental had begun. The human expedition had stepped into a story far larger than themselves, a story that now involved life, power, and a bond between species that neither could comprehend. And high above the city, the alien Queen's thoughts were unreadable. She had laughed at humans before, mocked their arrogance, and yet now, a spark had ignited, something impossible, something she could neither control nor fully understand. The alien city was alive with tension. The crystalline towers pulsed faintly, reacting to the energy that had begun to stir within the Queen. Ethan Cole and his team moved cautiously, each step measured, yet their nerves were stretched thin. They could feel the subtle hum in the air, the pulse of life that seemed tied to the Queen herself. "She's changing," Dr. Lila Brooks whispered, her eyes wide as she scanned the readings on her tablet. "The energy, it's evolving. Something is growing, inside her." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Inside her? Are you saying what I think you're saying?" Dr. Brooks nodded slowly. "Yes, Captain. I think she's pregnant. But not in a normal way, this is alien. Something unprecedented." Before Ethan could respond, the air shimmered. The Queen appeared again, descending from the top of a tower with a fluid grace that made her 8-foot frame seem almost unreal. Her eyes glimmered with a strange combination of awe and fear, emotions that were entirely alien yet unmistakably powerful. "You feel it too," she said, her voice low but resonant. "The change, the life that stirs, because of you." Ethan swallowed hard. "I don't understand. How did this happen?" The Queen's gaze drifted to the horizon, and for a moment, her expression softened. "I did not intend this. I mocked your kind, laughed at your audacity, yet now I am part of something I cannot control. Something impossible." Dr. Brooks took a step forward, her voice trembling. "Impossible? What do you mean?" The Queen's eyes flickered, and she glanced down at her hands, shimmering with iridescent light. "A bond has been formed, between species that were never meant to intertwine. And from this, life has begun." Ethan felt a cold shiver run down his spine. "Life? You mean, the child?" "Yes," the Queen whispered, her voice barely audible. "And it is not like your children. It carries potential, power, change. Even I cannot predict what it will become." A sudden gust of alien wind swept through the towers, carrying with it strange whispers that seemed to echo in their minds. Shadows moved in the corners of their vision, creatures that had been silently observing the humans now stirred, sensing the significance of what had begun. Ethan took a step closer. "Queen, what does this mean for us? For your people?" The Queen's gaze hardened, a flicker of fear crossing her features. "For my people, it means disruption. Change. Some will resist. Some will fear. And some may attempt to destroy what has begun. Dr. Brooks gasped. Destroy the child? The Queen's eyes narrowed. Yes. They cannot comprehend what defies their understanding. They will see this bond as a threat, as an abomination. Ethan's mind raced. Then we have to protect it. Protect you, and the child. The Queen's expression softened slightly, though her eyes still held a distant, unreadable emotion. You would do this? She asked, her voice almost hesitant. You, humans, so fragile, yet you show courage. Suddenly, the energy field surrounding the city flared violently. Crystalline shards floated mid-air, pulsing with alien light. The insect-like creatures stirred, their movements frantic. The Queen's advisors emerged from the shadows, chattering rapidly in a language that was both musical and harsh. They were clearly distressed, sensing the unprecedented event unfolding within their Queen. Ethan felt his pulse quicken. What do we do? He whispered to Dr. Brooks. Dr. Brooks shook her head. I don't know, but whatever it is, it's bigger than us. And it's coming. The Queen raised her hand, and a thin, glowing tendril of light shot from her palm, wrapping around Ethan in a cocoon of warmth and energy. He felt an intense connection, one that went beyond understanding. A spark of life, a bond he could feel physically and mentally. This connection, the Queen whispered, binds us, and it cannot be broken. Even if others try. Ethan felt a rush of emotions, fear, awe, and something deeper he could not name. He realized that whatever had begun was not just. The Queen's eyes glimmered, a mixture of relief and something harder to read, perhaps hope, perhaps fear. Then the challenge begins, she said. The unexpected, the impossible, has begun. And from this, all will change. High above the city, the Queen's thoughts raced. She had mocked humans, laughed at their audacity, and yet now, a spark had turned into a flame. Something extraordinary had begun inside her, a life that defied logic, species, and expectation. And somewhere deep within the glowing city, hidden from human eyes, a ripple of energy spread through the alien population. Whispers of dissent and fear began to circulate among her people. They would not accept this quietly. Ethan and his team felt the weight of the moment pressing down on them. The Queen had chosen to reveal the truth, something monumental had begun, something that could change the balance of power on the planet forever. And as the sun set behind the towering spires, casting long shadows across the city, one undeniable truth hung in the air: the story was no longer about exploration. It was about survival, bonds, and the unpredictable consequences of a union that should never have existed. The alien city trembled beneath the weight of an unseen storm. Ethan Cole and his team had barely processed the revelation of the Queen's unexpected pregnancy when the first signs of danger appeared. The crystalline towers flickered violently, casting long, jagged shadows over the ground. The insect-like creatures that had watched silently now moved in formation, their clicks and chirps growing louder and more urgent. Something's coming, Lieutenant Marco muttered, scanning the horizon. Not just her people, something bigger. Dr. Lila Brooks' fingers flew across her tablet. The energy readings are off the charts. Whatever is happening inside the Queen, it's affecting the city. And the creatures, they're reacting to it. I think it's powerful enough to harm her, or us. Ethan clenched his fists. Then we have to protect her. Whatever this is, it's part of her, part of life itself. The alien Queen emerged from the shadows of the tallest spire, her 8-foot frame glowing with an eerie, iridescent light. Her eyes were wide, not with fear, but with determination. The faint outline of her growing pregnancy pulsed subtly beneath her skin, a soft, radiant glow that seemed alive. They are coming, she said, her voice calm but resonant, carrying through the minds of the humans. The factions within my people who cannot accept what has begun, they will try to destroy it. Ethan took a deep breath. Then we stand with you. Whatever happens, we fight. A low, rumbling growl echoed through the city. From the shadows of the towers, alien warriors emerged, tall, armored figures with sharp, angular limbs, moving with lethal precision. Their eyes glimmered with hostility, and their weapons hummed with energy. The advisors of the Queen moved frantically, their clicks and chirps blending into a deafening chorus of warnings. "This is war," Marco whispered, eyes wide with fear. The Queen raised her hand, and the energy fields around the city flared to life. Pulses of iridescent light shot outward, forming barriers that shimmered like liquid glass. Ethan felt a rush of warmth and pressure as the field connected with him, a protective bond that seemed to fuse human and alien energy. "They will not breach this," the Queen said, her voice low and commanding. "But the battle is not only outside, it is within." Suddenly, a wave of alien energy surged from her body, rippling through the city. The creatures scattered, and the enemy warriors faltered, their movements disrupted by the raw power radiating from the Queen. Ethan could feel the pulse of life within her, a rhythm that was at once terrifying and awe-inspiring. Dr. Brooks gasped. "Her pregnancy, it's not normal. The energy, it's alive. It's fighting for her. For survival." The Queen's eyes met Ethan's. "You see now," she said softly, "why this is dangerous. This life, this bond, it changes everything. It will destroy, or protect, depending on how we act." The enemy warriors charged, and the city became a battlefield of light and shadow. Ethan and his team moved cautiously, guided by the Queen's energy. She extended her hands, sending beams of iridescent light that knocked back attackers, her body glowing brighter with each pulse. Marco shouted, "Stay close. Watch your step." The Queen's advisors joined the fight, their insect-like forms darting through the battlefield, using agility and speed to protect her. Yet, the enemy forces were relentless, their energy weapons slicing through the air with deadly precision. Ethan ducked behind a crystalline spire as a beam of energy passed overhead. "We can't hold them off forever," he shouted to the Queen. "What do we do?" The Queen's eyes glimmered with determination. "We fight. And we endure. This, child, this bond, is stronger than you know." A sudden flash of light erupted from her chest, and a shockwave rolled across the city. The enemy warriors were thrown back, some crashing into the towers, others frozen mid-step by the sheer force of alien energy. Ethan felt the ground shake beneath him, and the air hummed with the power of something far beyond human understanding. The glow around the Queen intensified, radiating outward like a living star. The humans felt a strange warmth, a connection that bound them to her and to the unborn life she carried. It was as if the city itself was alive, responding to the bond that had been formed. But even as the battle raged, Ethan could see the toll it took on her. Her breathing was deep, measured, and yet strained. The glow of her pregnancy flickered dangerously, and shadows of doubt crossed her alien features. "You cannot falter," Ethan shouted. "We are with you. We will protect you." The Queen's eyes softened, just for a moment, before hardening again. "Then fight with me," she said. "And understand the true power of what has begun." The alien warriors regrouped, surging forward with renewed aggression. Energy clashed against energy, the city trembling with the force of the conflict. Ethan and his team fought alongside the Queen, moving in sync with her movements, shielded by the pulsing energy that now seemed to connect them all. And in the midst of the chaos, the Queen's body glowed brighter than ever. The unborn life inside her pulsed with its own energy, responding to the battle, protecting her, and perhaps, changing the rules of reality itself. Dr. Brooks whispered, awestruck, "It's alive. It's learning, adapting." Ethan's gaze met the Queen's once more. "We can do this," he said. "Together." She nodded, and for a brief moment, the battlefield fell silent, as if the city itself held its breath. Then, with a wave of her hand, the Queen unleashed a surge of light that sent shockwaves through the enemy ranks, scattering them like leaves in a storm. But even in victory, Ethan could feel the danger was far from over. The child inside her, the bond, the alien factions, all were far from done. Whatever had begun was only growing stronger, and the challenges ahead were unimaginable. The Queen looked at Ethan, her eyes glimmering with an emotion he could not name. Fear. Awe. Trust. Perhaps all three. Prepare yourself, human, she said softly. The crisis is only beginning. And what comes next may decide the fate of both our worlds. The air pulsed one last time, and the city settled into an uneasy calm. But Ethan knew, this calm was only temporary. The storm had not passed. It had only grown stronger. And somewhere deep inside the glowing spires, the life that had begun inside the alien queen pulsed with its own rhythm, ready to shape a future no one could yet imagine. The alien city was quiet, but the tension in the air was palpable. Crystalline towers glimmered faintly under the alien sun, reflecting the faint glow that still radiated from the queen. The battle from before had ended, but the scars of energy pulses and shattered spires reminded everyone that danger was far from gone. Ethan Cole and his team moved cautiously through the glowing streets, their hearts heavy with anticipation. The queen emerged from the tallest tower, her 8-foot frame radiating both exhaustion and majesty. Her eyes were calm but intense, fixed on the horizon. Something within her had shifted, an aura of power, life, and uncertainty hovered around her. Ethan could feel the energy pulsing, stronger than ever, tied to her growing pregnancy. It begins now, the queen said, her voice steady, yet layered with emotion. The life inside me, it is ready to emerge. And with it, the future of our worlds will be forever altered. Dr. Lila Brooks stepped closer, her tablet forgotten in her hands. Captain, are you sure we're ready? This could change everything. Humans, aliens, all of us. Ethan swallowed hard. We have to be. Whatever comes, we face it together. We protect her, and the child. From the shadows, the insect-like advisors moved silently, their movements cautious. Even they seemed aware that what was about to happen was extraordinary, beyond anything their species had witnessed before. The Queen's advisors joined the fight, their insect-like forms darting through the battlefield, using agility and speed to protect her. Yet, the enemy forces were relentless, their energy weapons slicing through the air with deadly precision. Ethan ducked behind a crystalline spire as a beam of energy passed overhead. We can't hold them off forever, he shouted to the Queen. What do we do? The Queen's eyes glimmered with determination. We fight. And we endure. This, child, this bond, is stronger than you know. A sudden flash of light erupted from her chest, and a shockwave rolled across the city. The enemy warriors were thrown back, some crashing into the towers, others frozen mid-step by the sheer force of alien energy. Ethan felt the ground shake beneath him, and the air hummed with the power of something far beyond human understanding. The glow around the Queen intensified, radiating outward like a living star. The humans felt a strange warmth, a connection that bound them to her and to the unborn life she carried. It was as if the city itself was alive, responding to the bond that had been formed. But even as the battle raged, Ethan could see the toll it took on her. Her breathing was deep, measured, and yet strained. The glow of her pregnancy flickered dangerously, and shadows of doubt crossed her alien features. You cannot falter, Ethan shouted. We are with you. We will protect you. The Queen's eyes softened, just for a moment, before hardening again. Then fight with me, she said. And understand, the true power of what has begun. The alien warriors regrouped, surging forward with renewed aggression. Energy clashed against energy, the city trembling with the force of the conflict. Ethan and his team fought alongside the Queen, moving in sync with her movements, shielded by the pulsing energy that now seemed to connect them all. And in the midst of the chaos, the Queen's body glowed brighter than ever. The unborn life inside her pulsed with its own energy, responding to the battle, protecting her, and perhaps, changing the rules of reality itself. Dr. Brooks whispered, awestruck, it's alive. It's learning, adapting. Ethan's gaze met the Queen's once more. We can do this, he said. Together. She nodded, and for a brief moment, the battlefield fell silent, as if the city itself held its breath. Then, with a wave of her hand, the Queen unleashed a surge of light that sent shockwaves through the enemy ranks, scattering them like leaves in a storm. But even in victory, Ethan could feel the danger was far from over. The child inside her, the bond, the alien factions, all were far from done. Whatever had begun was only growing stronger, and the challenges ahead were unimaginable. The Queen looked at Ethan, her eyes glimmering with an emotion he could not name. Fear. Awe. Trust. Perhaps all three. Prepare yourself, human, she said softly. The crisis is only beginning. And what comes next may decide the fate of both our worlds. The air pulsed one last time, and the city settled into an uneasy calm. But Ethan knew, this calm was only temporary. The storm had not passed. It had only grown stronger. And somewhere deep inside the glowing spires, the life that had begun inside the alien Queen pulsed with its own rhythm, ready to shape a future no one could yet imagine. The alien city was quiet, but the tension in the air was palpable. Crystalline towers glimmered faintly under the alien sun, reflecting the faint glow that still radiated from the Queen. The battle from before had ended, but the scars of energy pulses and shattered spires reminded everyone that danger was far from gone. Ethan Cole and his team moved cautiously through the glowing streets, their hearts heavy with anticipation. The Queen emerged from the tallest tower, her 8-foot frame radiating both exhaustion and majesty. Her eyes were calm but intense, fixed on the horizon. Something within her had shifted, an aura of power, life, and uncertainty hovered around her. Ethan could feel the energy pulsing, stronger than ever, tied to her growing pregnancy. It begins now, the Queen said, her voice steady, yet layered with emotion. The life inside me, it is ready to emerge. And with it, the future of our worlds will be forever altered. Dr. Lila Brooks stepped closer, her tablet forgotten in her hands. Captain, are you sure we're ready? This could change everything. Humans, aliens, all of us. Ethan swallowed hard. We have to be. Whatever comes, we face it together. We protect her, and the child. From the shadows, the insect-like advisors moved silently, their movements cautious. Even they seemed aware that what was about to happen was extraordinary, beyond anything their species had witnessed before.